My sister-in-law is in Texas. They have some in Vegas. They have in St. George.
Oh, 3. Tonight.
Yeah. Because they needed the truckers to be able to get up into the.
Oh, yeah.
Come out on the hill with truck stop. So they needed that for them to, pretty interesting.
I haven't even, what's the, let's see,
See that part?
we rocking and rolling? They fixed the clock, but they went too far the other way now. There we are. It is now 6 o'clock, and I hereby call this first meeting of the San Benito County Planning Commission to order. If we could please have the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Scagliotti, could you please lead us in the pledge?
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Okay, when I call your name, please say present. Vincent Ringhayden, District 1.
Present.
Richard Way, District 2.
Present.
Robert Scagliotti, District 3.
Present.
Robert Gibson, District 4.
Present.
Bobby Thomason, District 5.
Present.
All commissioners are present.
Thank you. We have presentations and recognitions. And I guess I'm going to the podium. Thank you. And I have a certificate of recognition for Celeste Toledo Bocanegra. She was the planning commissioner for District 5 last year. And we're going to try to recognize every planning commissioner as they exit to thank them for their donation of their time. So I have, you'd come on over.
Thank you.
And this is to recognize Celeste Toledo Bocanegra for her outstanding service in the 2024 year as Planning Commissioner for District 5. As a member of the Planning Commission, she supported the review and recommendation of amendments to the county code, most notably Title 25, which is a major overhaul of our zoning code. She was an advocate for local farmers and the Latino community, championed causes to support both. During her time on the Planning Commission, there were 14 minor subdivisions that were approved, promoting sustainable growth, development, and healthy communities. And your dedication to land use planning and commitment to the community's future has been invaluable. And I want to thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you have anything to say?
Yes, I wrote something just really briefly. I didn't want to just be saying whatever up here, but I would like to thank first and foremost former Supervisor B. Gonzalez, because without her appointing me to this position, I wouldn't be here. B. Gonzalez continued supporting me even after backlash from a minority group who did not support me as a person due to my personal political views. B. Gonzalez knew the importance of checks and balances in our local government and statewide. These individuals in the minority group against my appointment came after me and personally bullied me, not knowing my background or who I was in this community. However, B. Gonzalez and I go back to 2005. She was going to school to get her bar license and I was attending the police academy. We lived just around the block at the time from one another, and she knew the good person I was. I am not just the daughter of migrant workers. I too cut apricots next to my mom to earn money during the summer school years to buy clothes for the following year. I was 13 years old. So as some of my fellow planning commissioners are farmers and others work or knew farmers, I too knew the farmers that I worked for as a worker. This helped me better understand my position as a planning commissioner and the importance of preserving our ag land. Thank you to our staff for your continued support and unbiased cooperation in the workplace here at San Benito County in the Planning Department. So I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd also like to recognize that we have a new member of the Planning Commission. Commissioner Thomason, if you'd like to say a few words.
I just hope that this is a great year. I appreciate everybody else that has given of their time prior to this. I've been in San Benito County for 30 plus years, and the changes are incredible. And I just hope to do what the citizens want and what is best for our community.
Thank you. And I'm gonna move an item 9.1 up. 9.1 would be the selection of the nomination of chair and vice chair for the Planning Commission. So we're gonna move item 9.1 up. Is there any public comment for item 9.1?
I have no public comment in chambers or via Zoom.
Oh, okay.
I would like
to nominate Robert Gibson for chair.
Is there a second? Nope, that dies for lack of a second. Is there another nomination?
I would like to nominate Mr. Way.
Is there a second?
I'd like to second.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Okay. If I call your name, indicate whether you yay or nay. Vincent Ringhayden, District 1.
Yay.
Richard Way, District 2.
For myself.
Robert Scaliotti, District 3.
Present.
Yes or no to Richard Way's appointment as chair?
No.
Robert Gibson
Yes.
and Bobby Thomason?
Yes.
That is a 4 to 1. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Commissioner White?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, give me half a moment to recombobulate myself here. Okay, so having done the election for chair, we have not done the election for vice chair, I don't believe, so let's proceed with that. Nominations for vice chair. Oh, I'm sorry, public comment for vice chair. Is there any public comment for vice chair?
Yes, Celeste Bocanegra.
Yes, please.
Thank you. So as I've been watching our local community members take over, as far as Colin Kazumiki and the LAFCO, I see that there is something going on. I'm not going to say it's a conspiracy, but I know other community members see it as well. And I would like to thank prior chair Robert Gibson for his time again as chair, and welcome the new members. But the community sees what's happening, and I hope that those taking lead know exactly that you're working for the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there additional public comment for the vice chair?
There is through Zoom. Barry Katz, you've been unmuted. Barry, are you with us? Can you unmute yourself? Barry, I see that you have unmuted yourself, but we cannot hear you. Okay, Barry, I'm sorry. If you can join back later with working audio, we would be happy to take your comment. No more public comment.
Okay, thank you. All right, are there nominations for the vice chair?
I will nominate Commissioner Thomason for vice chair.
Okay, additional nominations for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Robert Gibson.
No, thank you.
No? Okay. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Scagliotti.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Is there a second for?
Is there a second? Oh, I'm sorry. Is there a second for Commissioner Thomason?
I'll second.
Okay. So who's nominated so far? Just Commissioner Thomason?
Correct. She's accepted.
She's accepted, and we have a second.
Correct.
Okay. So shall we do a roll call on that? Okay. Let's see, starting with, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so when I call your name, indicate whether you're for or against Commissioner Thomason as vice chair. Vincent Ringhayden, District 1.
4.
Richard Way, District 2.
Yes.
Robert Scagliotti, District 3.
Yes.
Robert Gibson, District 4.
Yes.
Bobby Thomason, District 5.
Yes.
This is a 5-0 for vice chair.
Congratulations.
Okay.
You get the second big seat.
Okay.
Wow.
Moving on up to the east
Okay.
side.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I heard the east side's not a very good place to live. Just saying.
You have a better angle on the camera over there.
Oh, well, there you go.
I think Commissioner Scagliotti just didn't want to sit next to me.
Put the vice chair to the right.
Yep. And the past chair is supposed to sit here.
That way I can needle you all evening.
Okay, thank you. So that takes care of our elections, and I guess the next thing on our agenda is department announcements.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Planning Commission, Abraham Prado, Director of Planning and Building Services. And just a few announcements. One, normally I'm here to present any new applications that have come in for discretionary permits. This is not to say ministerial permits that we issue, that we deal with at the planning and building department. As of November of 2024 through November, we still have to get the numbers for December, but there was over 585 ministerial permits that went through the building department. But in regards to discretionary permits that would ultimately come to you for this month, there has been no submittals. And so if we have any for next month, we'll make sure to present those to you as has been requested in the past from the Planning Commission. Another item is that on page 10 of your packets, we have the calendar for 2025 regarding the meetings, which is typically the third Wednesday of each month, with exceptions of November and December, I believe, which is because of the holidays. But other than that, they're standard. Page 10 of your packet. I don't believe we need to have a motion to accept it, or do we, Mr.? Oh, we're just reviewing. Thank you. Yes. And then, so if you have any questions, you could let us know. And then also regarding committee assignments, we have two standing. One of them is the homeless task force. And so for the homeless task force, we have Commissioner Way and Commissioner Ringhayden, who belong to the homeless task force. We are in communication with Enrique and making sure that that's still going to be moving forward. And if so, we'll make sure to provide you with the dates and so forth of the next meetings. But if it is the desire of the Planning Commission to keep or to change, our recommendation would be to keep, but it's up to the Commission at this point. Any comments or questions on that one before I talk about the next committee?
I have a question.
Yeah.
That meeting is once every 2 months. Is that correct?
Quarterly, I believe, yeah. So once every 3 months, yes.
And I will admit that I missed at least one meeting, but I was wondering if there should be a meeting once a month as opposed to once every 2 months.
We can
Just a thought.
Yeah. Yeah. We can check with the director, but planning doesn't establish that. It's HHSA, Health and Human Services, so we can provide that information to them and let them know.
the Board of Supervisors took some action with regard to one of the homeless task forces, and I'm not sure, I've been trying to get clarification on this. It may have been this task force, but there was some action taken, and I need to get clarification on this because it may have been scuttled. And the last task force meeting, which had been scheduled for I believe for the 10th of February, was put on hold for some reason. And again, I'm trying to get clarification on that, but I'll let you know, I'll let everybody know if I get any further information.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We are in the same boat. We are trying to, clarification. If we find anything out, we'll let you know as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the next one is the San Benito County Conservation Plan. And for that, we have Commissioners Gibson and Commissioner Scagliotti. And we would recommend that they stay on that plan, on that conservation plan. And the other one is the ag element. For the ag element, we don't have any members of the Planning Commission within the stakeholders group. However, if it is the desire of the Planning Commission to select a member of the Planning Commission to be a part of the stakeholder group, we would welcome that. But it is up to the Planning Commission. And you can currently attend as members of the public, as we had Commissioner Scagliotti in our meeting yesterday. That's always an open invitation.
Right. I don't see any need to alter the makeup of either of the standing commission, either of the standing committees that we're currently participating in. And I would welcome the opportunity to have somebody participate in the ag element on a more formal basis. And if that's Commissioner Scagliotti, if he has the desire to do that, I would welcome his participation in that.
Yes, I do, and thank you, Commissioner Way.
Okay.
Through the chair, I would concur since he's the farmer.
Exactly.
That's the most appropriate person to put on.
Chair, I would actually make a motion on each of those.
Okay, all right. Then I would move that I would move that myself and Commissioner Ringhayden continue to participate in the homeless task force to the extent that it continues to operate. Is there a second for that?
Second.
All those, should we do a roll call? Or can we just do all those in favor?
Yeah, it's up to the board.
Oh, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
5-0.
5-0, okay. Can we have a motion on appointing, on continuing the appointment of,
Yeah.
I move to keep Commissioner Scagliotti and myself on the SBCCP ad hoc or standing committee, I guess it would be.
I second.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 5-0, okay.
And then I'll make a motion to appoint Commissioner Scagliotti to the ag element,
Okay, and I'll second that.
whatever it is.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 5-0,
Ag Element Stakeholder Planning Group, just
Yes.
for reference.
There we
Thank
go.
you so much.
okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So that takes care of that. Public comment. This is the opportunity for the public to comment on items that are within the purview of the Planning Commission that are not on tonight's agenda. Feel free to bring up anything that is within our purview that is not on tonight's agenda. We won't be able to make any decisions on these items, but you're welcome to comment on these things. Is there any public comment on such items in chambers?
I do not have any public comment in chambers.
In Zoom, via Zoom?
Through Zoom, if you would like to comment, please press *9 or the raise hand icon. Chair, I do not have any public comment via Zoom.
Okay, on the consent agenda, I do notice that there is a typo on item 7.1 as described, but it is not a typo in the attachment. It identifies the certificate of posting as being the posting for the February 19th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting, but it is in fact the certificate of posting for the February 19th, 2025 meeting. So I think with that minor correction, we could probably approve it.
So moved.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Can we accept the consent agenda with that minor modification?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes 5-0. On the public hearing items 8.1 and 8.2, I noticed that there is a request to continue these items to a date certain of March 5th due to insufficient notice being given to the near neighbors. Council, do we need a separate motion to continue each of these items, or can we continue both of them with a single motion?
You need to do a motion for each, and you should raise each and take public comment and then make a decision.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so let's raise item 8.1, a request to continue item 8.1, PLN 240030, which is a public hearing to consider adopting a resolution to approve 240030, a tentative map to subdivide an existing 160.18 acre parcel into two separate parcels of 17.89 acres and 142.29 acres, proposing no new construction. Project site at Mission Vineyard Road, 1 mile southeast of downtown San Juan Bautista at the intersection of Mission Vineyard and Hedges Road in unincorporated San Benito County, file number 790. Is there any public comment in chambers or via Zoom?
In chambers, if you would like to speak, please present a speaker card. Through Zoom, again, please press *9 or the raise hand icon. I do not have any public comment for this item.
Okay, is there any discussion within the commission with regards to the item or with regards to continuing the item prior to voting on continuing it?
No. I would concur with the staff recommendation and continue the item until March 5th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Shall we do a roll call on that? Okay.
Okay, Vincent Ringhayden, District 1.
Yes.
Richard Way, District 2.
Yes.
Robert Scagliotti, District 3.
Yes.
Robert Gibson, District 4.
Yes.
Bobby Thomason, District 5.
Yes.
That's a 5-0 in favor.
Thank you. And on item 8.2, 8.2 is hold a public hearing to consider adopting a resolution to approve PLN 240042, tentative map subdividing an existing 28.57 acre parcel into three parcels of 5 acres, and 18.41 acres with a 0.16 acre and 0.51 acre road dedication. The project is at 1401 Orchard Road, approximately 1 mile northeast of the intersection of Fairview Road and Orchard Road in unincorporated San Benito County, SBC file number 790. The request is to continue this. Is there public comment either in chambers or via Zoom on this item?
I have no comments in chambers or via Zoom.
Is there discussion within the commission on this item or on the continuation of this item? No? Is there a motion to continue?
Take the
this
recommendation of the continue it.
item? Okay,
I'll second.
okay,
I'm assuming that was a motion.
yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
I'll second.
okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Hearing none, the motion carries 5-0. Moving on to regular agenda, we've covered 9.1. Moving on to 9.2, Resource Management Agency, Abraham General Plan Annual Progress Report. Government code mandates that all cities and counties submit an annual report on the status of the general plan, progress in its implementation to their legislative bodies, the Governor's Office of Planning and Research, and the Housing and Community Development by April 1st. This report was accomplished within calendar year 2024. The county's progress in implementation of the general plan, SBC file number 790.2. It looks like Ariel is going to start this one.
I am. Thank you,
Thank
Chair.
you.
So Ariel Goodsby, Principal Planner for the County of San Benito. And thank you, Commissioner Way. So what we do and what's required by the state is basically we report on what did we accomplish or not accomplish in the calendar year and on the general plan, and then our Associate Planner Stephanie Reck will present on the housing element. So for those that are new commissioners or new here tonight, and, you know, as discussed, San Diego County 2035 General Plan, it was adopted back in 2015. It's a 20-year document, and it can be amended up to 4 times per year. And there's a process. There's also required land use elements that are in there, and then there are sections that were added as optional. Our optional are the economic, the public facilities and services, and the administration element. The rest are required by the state. Just reporting on a few of our implementation that we did in 2024. One of our main focuses, as we mentioned, is the ag element. We had our first stakeholder planning group meeting last night. We had a few of the commissioners in attendance, either via Zoom or in person. And so this is really going to be getting into the land use implementations on agricultural buffer, agricultural mitigation, the right to farm, the agricultural tax assessment, agricultural industrial zoning. This is ongoing. It was, you know, part of some of the review we had done when we adopted the 2022 zoning code. The cluster residential program, this is also ongoing. The transfer of development credit, this will be something we'll be looking at as part of the ag element as well. The new community review fact sheet, the Planning Commission, as December Planning Commission meeting, recommended that the general plan amendment to remove the new community study areas from the general plan, and then the board adopted it in February 6, 2024. The sustainability master plan. So the county continues to monitor and address the impacts of climate change on public facilities and services, including increased heat waves, droughts, wildfires. But most of our main work is through the ongoing priority climate action plan and comprehensive climate action plan that we've partnered with Santa Clara County. And we actually, earlier this month in February, we did have a workshop with our local ag community for that as well. So our ag members of the public have been very engaged with the county planning department, and working hard. And then, as we presented earlier, the continuation of the county working on its joint habitat conservation plan and natural community conservation plan, and that is working to implement NCRA. So as far as what amendments happened last year, as presented, just the removal of new community study areas. In addition, we've continued work on the 6th cycle housing element update, and expect to have adopted later this year. And Stephanie will answer additional questions and present further on that after my presentation. And then the agricultural element has officially begun work, and our next meeting for that stakeholder planning group will be on Tuesday, April 15th. And I apologize, planning activities that were in 2024, not 2023. So there were 21 Planning Commission meetings, including 6 special meetings. So again, thank you, Commission, for all your availability, and even tonight, being able to do another special meeting. We appreciate you helping not just staff, but the public in this way. Multiple conditional use permits, minor subdivisions, notice of preparation meetings, multiple code amendment recommendations, general plan amendment recommendations. These are all things that you guys work on. And then behind the scenes that you don't see that goes on in our office are building permits. And we actually had 656 building permits that were issued last year. And just so you know, our staff consists of only 2 permit techs. And we now have 2 building inspectors and recently a building official. And that makes up our whole building department on the issuance of this many permits for the county. So I just want to thank staff for all their really hard work. You've seen this before, and a lot of these are very familiar projects. I'll just hit on a couple. Ridgemark, the public draft of that EIR you'll probably be seeing that get posted here within the next few months. And Fairview Corners, I was actually at a pre-construction meeting earlier today. They will be beginning groundwork and construction this year on their phase 1. Phase 2, we're still working on wrapping up condition compliance. And you may have heard a little bit if you tuned into a presentation done in regards to Measure A, but both Travelers Station and the Ag Center are projects that were subject to Measure A. They will be allowed to continue to process and not be subject to the moratorium that we'll be putting in place while the county works on that new general plan amendment that is required under Measure A. And some of these, we haven't heard on Strata Verde. We've sent them notice to close out the application. We haven't heard from them in a few years. San Juan Oaks is just ongoing. You can see the construction, and some of these are past. And that concludes my presentation for tonight. If there's any questions from the public or through the commission, I'm happy to answer those, but this just takes account of what was done in 2024.
Is this under number 2, the legislative body review and acceptance? I'm sorry, I'm new, or is it?
No problem. So basically, what's required is you accept the report that we did and presentation, and you make a recommendation to the board, and the board approves the report, and then we send it to the state by April 1st. It's just a requirement by state law to do these annual progress reports.
Okay, so my question then is, under the number 2 on page 106, it is assuming that the Board of Supervisors have actually, it says March 11th, 2025, that they're actually going to go ahead and approve this. That's an assumption, and I don't think.
I could edit it to be TBD. Currently, we have it to go on that agenda, but if you want, we could just put.
Well, that's fine that it's on the agenda. It's just that when you're reading that it states and accepted by the Board of Supervisors, to me, if I'm reading that outside of it's saying, oh, they've already accepted it. Well, how could they accept it when the meeting and?
Okay, not a problem. We can edit that. That's the scheduled date. We'll be bringing this report to after today.
Thanks.
You're just asking to change that word accepted.
Right.
Mm-hmm. To present. Yeah.
So we need a motion to accept this?
I recommend public comment.
Yes.
Sorry, my
Yes,
apologies
sorry.
to interrupt you,
Sorry.
Chair.
No, thank you. I'm new at this as well, so. And also, okay. Is there public comment on this item, either in chambers or, yes, of course, obviously,
Yes.
sorry.
Ms. Elias Salinas, please approach the podium. You will have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I won't take that long. I just want to make a clarification because Ms. Goodspeed is actually being very polite, and that's how she is. But it's not making an assumption. It is the language that's put on there that on that day, that it is presented, and on that day, it can be accepted. So it is for presentation and acceptance. So just to clarify, because I know you brought a question, you're saying that she's making an assumption that it's going to be passed by that, but they have the capacity to make a decision at that time if they want to accept it. So just a clarification on that. So thank you.
Is there additional public comment?
There is no more public comment in chambers or via Zoom.
Is there a discussion within the commission? Okay. Sorry.
Yes, I had just one question. On the building permits that were pulled, how many were private and how many were through a major subdivision? How many private ones against how many against the major subdivisions were built? Can you give me that answer, y'all, please?
Majority of them are ongoing major subdivision projects, either Santana Ranch or San Juan Oaks. I know I'm going to pass it to Abraham.
No worries. I could help with that. I believe it was 135 actually in regards to single-family residential homes like Santana Ranch, San Juan Oaks. So the majority of the 600 and so forth were actually private, and so
Individual homes? Single-family dwellings?
the single-family dwellings were the part of the 135, and so the rest were somebody that wants to do an expansion to the home, a re-roof,
Barn or whatever? Okay.
barn. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And one other question while she's, Sunnyside Estates, I don't remember that coming before us. Where's that?
Brigantino on South Side.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. That's my neck of the woods.
It was completed a while back. We could probably remove it for next year's.
Yeah, but I'm old. I've been here since 2021. I don't remember that one.
It was before I came on board. It was like
Yeah.
2018 or 2017.
Additional conversation within the commission?
Disrespect.
I just had, I'm a little confused now. Let me just read this back. The annual report was received by the Planning Commission on February 19th, 2025, and originally said, and accepted by the Board of Supervisors on March 11th. Can you, I'm confused at what the issue is, except for that. I understand that you wanted to change one word. I'm a little confused as to what we're talking about here.
So if I understood correctly through the chair, we haven't yet had that Board of Supervisors meeting. That will be in a few weeks. That's when this is scheduled to, there's 2 meetings in March that will be before April 1st. And currently we have that we will be bringing both these annual progress reports to the March 11th and not the March 25th meeting. And so I preemptively put that date in there so you would know when it was going. And we just are clarifying that it will be future presented and potentially
I guess my
accepted.
question, I'm sorry, is could it be rejected?
It could be rejected. I still would submit that report to the state. It wouldn't change me submitting. I still will submit the report.
It's a prospective, it's a forward-looking statement, basically.
Yes. I think in the past years I might have just put TBD, and
We could just put considered by the board.
Yeah.
Right? To be considered.
yes.
Through the chair. Mr. Chair, members of the commission. So exactly what Ariel indicated is correct. Government Code Section 65400 indicates that we must come before you, all jurisdictions must come before the Planning Commission and the board to provide that annual general plan progress report, just to indicate and inform the Planning Commission, and hopefully with the recommendation to the board of all the different items as Ariel presented. And then by April 1st of each year, we must submit to the state and basically indicate that we've done our due diligence of, we have an adopted general plan through 2035, and we have presented our annual reports of all the things, all the items. That's it. And this is important because when the state, if for example the state has grants to offer for different things, they want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence, that are coming before the Planning Commission and the board. And if we're not doing that, jurisdictions that are not doing that may be penalized, if for lack of a better word.
Sure. So even though March 11th hasn't occurred yet, it's going to be March 11th. I mean, if it's not March 11th, we're not going to meet the April 1st date. So we might as well put March 11th in the form now, right? I mean, that's
good point, Mr. Chair. And essentially, what we have, as you had indicated, we're drafting it as if we were going to be sending it to the state before April 1st. That's our plan, to bring it before you today, February 19th, which is on the paperwork. And then our plan was also to bring in March 11th. With that intent. If things change, say for example, if we didn't have a quorum today, then we would have changed it to to the March 5th meeting, and so it's just preemptive, kind of having it ready.
I'm only one person, but I'm okay with leaving March 11th in, but obviously it's up to the rest of the commission as well. But.
And through the chair, I guess technically it could be the second meeting in March and still be before April 1st. And the requirement from the state is just that we've presented to those bodies. And so it's less about an action and more that, we follow that procedural step before we just send it to the state.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So do we have a motion then to indicate that we've accepted this at the Planning Commission level?
I believe that's what we're doing, right? So do we make a motion? Forgive me, I just trying to understand. So we now make a motion to accept this and send it forward.
Correct.
I'd like to make a motion to accept this and send it forward.
I second.
Do we need a roll call on this? Let's do a roll call.
Okay, Vincent Ringhayden, District 1.
Yes.
Richard Way, District 2.
Yes.
Robert Scaliotti, District 3.
Yes.
Robert Gibson, District 4.
Yes.
Bobby Thomason, District 5.
Yes.
That's a 5-0 in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Moving on to 9.3, accept the 2024 Housing Element Annual Progress Report. Government Code 65400 mandates that all cities and counties submit an annual report on the status of the housing element of the general plan and progress in its implementation to their legislative bodies, to the Governor's Office of Planning and Research and the Housing and Community Development by April 1st of each year, reporting what was accomplished within the calendar year 2024 of the county's progress and implementation of the sixth housing element cycle from 2023 to 2031, SBC file number 790.2. And off we go. Thank you, Stephanie.
Hi, Chair, Vice Chair, Stephanie Reck, Associate Planner, as well as your lovely clerk. And so I'm here today to present the 2024 Housing Element Annual Progress Report. So very briefly, I just want to talk about what is the housing element before we get into the housing element report. So basically the housing element is just a component of our general plan. It's updated more frequently than the general plan. It's updated every 8 years versus every 20 years like the general plan is. The housing element identifies sites to meet our county's share of regional housing needs as assigned by the state and for various income levels. It's used to develop strategies to provide for and meet those needs. And the housing element includes our regional housing needs allocation, otherwise known as RHNA. It's our state projected housing needs, as stated earlier. So the housing element provides identification and analysis of those housing needs, and it includes goals, policies, financial resources, objectives related to the development and preservation of housing. So basically our updated draft of our housing element has 5 core goals. Goal 1 focuses on the availability of housing, and so we're planning on implementing 6 policies. Goal 2 focuses on the development of housing, and we'll implement another 6 policies. Goal 3 focuses on the maintenance of housing and has 2 policies associated with it. And Goal 4 focuses on providing equal housing opportunity with 3 policies, and Goal 5 focuses on energy conservation with 4 policies. And within those policies, the county is going to implement 52 programs to meet those goals. So Table D in the housing element report details the progress made with regard to each of these sub-goals and programs for the 2024 calendar year. So the 6th cycle of the housing element began on June 30th, 2023, and will span till December 31st, 2031. Due to the mid-year change in cycles of the housing element, there is some discrepancy with the units that you'll see reported under the 2023 calendar year. It does not show the complete number of units for 2023, but only the number of units that were permitted between June 30th and December 14th. To be clear, the report you're presented with today is for the 2024 calendar year. I just want to note why the numbers for 2023 will appear low in a few slides. So what is the housing element annual progress report? So annually, our jurisdiction is required to submit this report, which details the status we've made in meeting our needs for RHNA and implementing our housing element. So the report details project applications, issued building permits, certificates of occupancy for the calendar year. Once the report is completed, again, it's submitted to the Governor's Office of Planning and Research and the State Department of Housing and Community Development by April 1st, after being presented to the Planning Commission and the board. So really quickly, I'm not going to review this in depth, but we began this process in 2021. HCD approved our methodology for our RHNA in November of 2022. In March of 2023, we entered into a contract with Kimley Horn to complete our housing element update. And here we are today. We submitted our first draft June 19th, 2024, and we're in our 3rd round of revision with the state. We submitted our most recent update of our housing element on February 3rd, 2025, and we are waiting for a response from the state. And so really quickly, here's our RHNA allocation methodology option F that was approved by HCD. You'll notice that our entire region has 5,000 units. The county was allocated 754 of those units, broken down at 246 units for very low income, 198 for low income, 103 for moderate income, and 207 for above moderate income. So I would like to point out that as a county, we are only required to plan for these units within our housing element by identifying sites zoned to meet these needs. We are not required to fund the construction of these units. And so very quickly, just some work accomplished in 2024 that will be accounted for in our housing element is the approval of the Lands of Lee project, which will provide 121 single-family units, 20 duets, and 30 ADUs that are going to be deed-restricted rentals, 55 years for low income. And then we also permitted 11 extremely low-income units at the Migrant Center. There will be a total of 16 extremely low-income units out there, but it is my understanding that 5 were already pre-constructed. So here's our progress report for this year. So Table B in the report has the number of units which were issued in the calendar year to demonstrate progress towards meeting RHNA. So again, the 5th cycle ended on June 30th. So the 6th cycle only reports units after June. So you'll see here the 31 units for 2023. I just want to point out that 230 units were permitted in 2023 calendar year. 199 of those are on the 5th cycle report and 31 are here on the 6th cycle report. So for 2024, the county issued 180 above moderate units and 11 extremely low income units, which gets counted towards our very low income progress. You will see that we have already exceeded the need for above moderate units in the sixth cycle, with a total of 211 issued permits to date, and we were only required 207. We still have a remaining unmet need of 235 very low-income units, 198 low-income units, and 103 moderate-income units, but we're still very early in the cycle. So staff recommend receiving this report, and if accepted, I will present it to the Board of Supervisors and then submit to the Governor's Office of Planning and Research and HCD by April 1st.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Are there questions before we go to public comment? Questions from the commission for Stephanie? No? Okay, is there public comment either in chambers or via Zoom? Ms. Salinas?
Thank you, and good evening, and I'm sorry, earlier I should have said congratulations to the new chair. It's my understanding that we still have not met the housing requirements for the state. So it is important to have this information. It is important for you to realize it and have it in the back of your mind, because one of the most important things that's happening right now within the whole state is the housing remedy. So moving forward, and I've heard this from the Board of Supervisors, we have until so-and-so year to meet it. Well, you don't, because you're already behind. And this new addition, the board has said before, not with regards to meeting the housing element, but to say that we have to do, I'm throwing a number out, we have to do 5 of them. And we have to do those 5, and then the question was, when do we have to do them by? And they're like, oh, well, we don't have to do them for another 3 or 7 years. In the meantime, they're saying, the Board of Supervisors are making votes or decisions to say, well, we're not gonna have to approve any of that because we still have time to do it. And then you have a new cycle coming in. So now you're behind. So with regards to the report that was mentioned earlier, combining it with this housing element numbers, is that you have to keep in mind that whether you may be against something and not want something to get passed because you're like, well, I don't want to build any houses. It's against the law to do a moratorium, first of all. So I heard the word earlier, moratorium, and I'm like, wait a minute, that you can't do a moratorium, but what you can do is you can plan, and what you can do is, is plan with the most important thing to know is that when you're making a decision, you're not going to place the county in a situation where it's going to get sued, because right now that's exactly what's going to happen with the housing remedy issue that's going on. So this report is important to know. This report is important to know what the history is of San Benito County when it comes to the housing element and what the future holds, so that when you're making a decision on what is best for the county, so that you don't place the county in a place where it's in liability, and we're a poor county and we can't afford to get sued. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just wanted to add to be mindful, and like we're preparing for this, right, for the future, but be mindful of single family homes, because, growing up on the west side, I've always lived in the lower income housing. And I know we're trying to just shove the lower income, medium income families and ADUs or whatnot, but we have to be mindful that, my children who may be in the lower in that bracket or may not, I don't know what their future holds, but I'm just, for example, using my children. They may be in that lower income. They will eventually have families as well and not want to live in an ADU. They want to live in a single family home. So I just would like you guys to be mindful on that and prepare, because I've heard throughout the process of multiple family homes, and know if we can just continue with the single family homes as well for the future of our children. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment?
Yes, we have one public comment via Zoom. Barry Katz, I am allowing you to talk. If you would like to unmute yourself.
Am I up?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay. First off, I would like to say, please be a little bit more patient. Sometimes things just don't always work that well. I don't know why the previous time it didn't. But let's stay on the subject here. I don't think that we can be constantly just regulated by potential threats that we're going to have litigation. I mean, right now there's litigation going on in the other direction. The former port group that is involved, as well as the Alamusan tribe, with one thing going on with the county. So you can always be sued. I mean, that's just something that happens. And if you try to do everything, someone starts to threaten you with litigation, and that makes you change everything, you're just captive. You might as well just have those people in charge and let them do whatever they want. You can be sued. I'm not saying that we should do things that are flagrantly against the laws, the regulations. I'm not saying that at all, but I don't think we can be living in constant fear of litigation and letting developers or others threaten that they're going to sue and therefore giving them everything they want. It's your job of the Planning Commission, the supervisors, not to do what's best for the county, but to do what's best for the people in the county, the residents of the county. Not for the county government and the county staff, it's for the people who live there. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional public comment?
There is not additional public comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there discussion among the commissioners with regard to this item? No? Okay. Do we need a motion then to have this brought forward to the Board of Supervisors? Yes, okay.
We need to have a motion?
I think so.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
I move that we bring this forward to the County Board of Supervisors.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries 5-0. Moving on to item number 10, Commissioner announcements, and having played musical chairs, I'm not going to attempt to go District 1, District 2, since I've sort of lost track as to the numbers of the districts, so let's just move down the line. Commissioner Scagliotti,
I have nothing at this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Gibson.
Nothing at this time.
I'm going to hold mine until the end. Commissioner Thomason.
Aye.
Okay, Commissioner Ringhaden.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I have some announcements. I want to, first of all, thank the other commissioners for their confidence in electing me chair. I want to congratulate Commissioner Thomason on being elected vice chair. I want to thank Commissioner Gibson very much for his leadership over the past years. I want to let the public know, if they don't already know, that this is essentially a volunteer position. We do get a very, very small stipend for participating in this position. It amounts to $100 for each meeting that we attend, and that has to compensate us for all of the prep work that we do in addition to attending the meeting, even if it's a 5-hour meeting plus whatever preparation we do for the meeting. And sometimes that's extensive. Sometimes it involves site visits, whatever, working with staff. So nobody's getting rich from doing this work. I apologize for the glitches that you've seen tonight and those that you'll see in future meetings in advance. So, I'll get into it over time. And I guess that's it in terms of commissioner announcements. Do we have, oh, yes, sorry, Commissioner Ringhaven.
I'm sorry, you rung a bell. I'd like to also recognize Mr. Gibson for his leadership. I'd like to thank him for making it, helping the folks like me who are new to this. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your help and all what you've done so far.
Thank you.
Indeed. And if we could add an agenda item to a future meeting, probably not this special meeting, but the next regular meeting to prepare a certificate similar to what we've done in the past, that would be great. And could we have a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion.
to adjourn.
Wait,
Everyone's fighting over it.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have a motion to adjourn on the table.
Sorry, through the chair, if it's okay. I actually spoke with Commissioner Ringhaven earlier this week, and he had wanted to add a future presentation, and I was noticing he forgot to
I'm sorry.
include it.
I did. So I was asking you if you could give us the presentation that you gave the supervisors in regards to the Measure A.
Oh.
So do we need a second, or is that something you're just willing to do, or?
I can bring to the March meeting. It would be the same presentation I presented to the board, but for the commission, if
Sounds
so
like a
desired.
reasonable idea.
Yep, I concur.
I concur.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Okay, by consensus. Okay. Okay, so we have a vote pending on adjournment. I believe we have 4 ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
If you have an
Okay.
aye.
Okay, motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned at 7:02 PM. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay.